Welcome to Crypto Corny. This is Andy and Nicole. What a great week, cryptocurrency. Hope you enjoyed the weekend. Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. Hope you had a great weekend and everything's great. Hey, today I want to talk, after looking through the chats and, the YouTube and the remarks from Twitter and, social media and all this. The question I get asked more often than not is explain Bitcoin, explain this ecosystem, and especially to new people. Or have you ever noticed? I tried to explain it to my dad, and he gets it, and then some neighbors and different people. I talk a lot about Bitcoin, and it seems like there's uh, a gap between somebody that's older than 50 and younger than 50 and understanding cryptocurrency and how it works. And they say, Andy, explain it the best you can. I think of it like the highway system. I think of it like a world is a big, huge highway system. And the main highway around the world is, let's just call it Bitcoin Highway. So we have Bitcoin Highway. And to get on this highway, you have to go to an exchange and you need to purchase some Bitcoin. We'll call that an on-ramp. So we're getting on Bitcoin Highway. We're getting on a ramp, meaning we're going to an exchange. We're going to take fiat currency. We're going to convert that into Bitcoin, into cryptocurrency, and we're going to get on the Bitcoin highway, and we're going to ride this asset and diversify, secure ourselves, and hedge against inflation, and all those things that Bitcoin do. So you're heading down the highway, and it's a financial system, just like you use now with your banks, just like when you go to an ATM and you put in your private code. It's the same thing as your personal keys. So we're driving down Bitcoin Highway and we see all these signs coming at us. We see speed signs, 55, 70 miles an hour. Exit 1A is, well, let's just call it Ethereum. Ethereum exit 1A, just like down in West Palm Beach, exit A1A. We're going to go down to, let's have some fun and call it, we're going to head down to Profit City. So we're on the Bitcoin Highway, and we bought $100 and we're driving down the road and everything's great. Bitcoin is appreciated in value. Let's say it went up to $130. And the first exit you want to get off on, it just happens to be Ethereum exit. And you take the exit and you get off. And at that moment, you have a taxable event. You bought Bitcoin, you drove down Bitcoin Highway, and you got off on Ethereum exit A1. You thus then took your Bitcoin and exchanged that, because it's paired with Ethereum. You exchanged your Bitcoin for Ethereum. Now, the taxable event would work like this. You came on the ramp at $100. You got off at the first exit, and we'll call that Ethereum, and Bitcoin was worth $120. So your taxable event or your capital gains, if you're here in the United States, would be $20. That's what your return on your investment, or whatever you want to call it, the appreciation of Bitcoin was 100 when you got on, and 120 when you exchanged it for Ethereum. Now, we hear lately all about Ethereum and the dominance of altcoins, and right now Bitcoin's lost its supremacy, if you will. It's just below 50%, probably around 45, 47% dominance, meaning all other coins that aren't Bitcoin are called altcoins. And when you look at market caps and dominance and all that, they call them alt season, because what happens is institutional money will come into Bitcoin because they view that as a store of value, as a hedge against inflation. So institutional money a lot of times will just come into Bitcoin, sit and hold for the long term. You can ride on Bitcoin Highway and hold that Bitcoin as long as you want until you get off on an exit. When you get off on an exit or exchange it for another coin, that's a taxable event. So now you have $120 worth of Ethereum. You get off the first exit. And I'm big on Ethereum because of DeFi, dApps, meaning decentralized finance, decentralized apps, incredible growth. I think when we started, fiscal 2021, there was about $1 billion in DeFi. And in the first quarter, it grew to an amazing, I want to say it was $45 billion in 90 days. And now I looked at it yesterday over the weekend, it's already jumped to $75 billion. So this is what's pushing the alt season or Ethereum, because I believe we're headed for a future of decentralization in just about every aspect, eliminating the middleman from Wall Street to the stock exchange to central banks. I see it coming. Decentralized future is coming quickly. That's why you're seeing the rise of Ethereum and Chainlink, for example, that really is what Ethereum runs on. When you really look at it, you boil it down. I think its identifier is Link, Link. So I love Ethereum. I love Link. It's outperforming Bitcoin right now. So think of it, Bitcoin highway. We get off at Ethereum exit. We've paid our capital gains of what 20% of $20. So $4 is what your capital gains would be. So now we have Ethereum. And lately here we've seen, we just went through the London fork, and I think there's another one, the Berlin fork. And then the next one that's going to improve some things with Ethereum will be, I think it was EIP 1559. So what these two hard forks do are really improve scalability or improve efficiency or speed. Think of the highway as all these exit signs that you see again. You're passing, going down the highway, and you see all these coins. There went EOS, there went Ethereum, there went Bitcoin Cash or Chainlink or what, Polkadot, what you name them. All these different signs going by, and you need to figure out what exit you want to get off to, find Profit City. And the best way to do that, and I think of the signs as the exchanges. You came on the ramp, you got on the exchange, you bought your Bitcoin, you got off the Bitcoin highway, and you paid your capital gains on the exchange. So when I look at these signs, how do you know which sign is going to take you where you need to go? And that's where the tricky part comes in. All the tools are there. So I look at exchanges. It has everything you need to know about the inner workings of cryptocurrency, what to buy, moving averages. I mean, everybody and their brother is a trader. And that's fine. That's great. If you want to be a trader, be a trader. I only invest in things that I think are going to solve a unique problem that really helps humanity. Maybe it is faster, scalable. And think of faster and scalable like this. When you look at an ecosystem of money and cryptocurrency. So we got off Ether exit. And the very first thing we do when we come off of an exit is we get stuck by a stop sign. We wait, and traffic and everything gets bottlenecked. And then we go to the next block and the light's red. So we have to stop again. So it's very slow. And let's say it's Friday traffic and it's really bottlenecked and it's slow and you can't get to Profit Town as fast as you want to. So a hard fork would do something like this. Think of it in terms of you get off the exit, and now the new protocol or the new rules, if you will, there's hard forks and soft forks. And hard forks are incompatible, meaning the existing blockchain isn't going to work together, where you have a soft fork that is compatible. Now, when you have a hard fork, let's say you're heading down Ethereum, and this could be true for a road, an avenue, a crescent, whatever you want to call it. There's things that impede your speed or your ability to go faster. And those are stop signs, stop lights. So let's say the fork or the new rules remove that stop sign or remove that stop light. So now you can just sail down Ethereum Avenue with that, and it's much faster. Or think of scaling. Think of, Bitcoin highway or Ethereum it's one lane. So the new protocol that comes out, now you have a 5-lane highway, plus you've got an exit lane to get off on Ethereum exit. So that helps us to scale. See the difference and see the analogy of Bitcoin highway, taxable event. Use the road signs of the exchanges to read about and educate yourself on where you're going and how you want to get there. And all of those can be done on any exchange. There's white papers. Read these things. Understand what you're investing in. It's just like Vegas. You sit down at the 21 table and you see all these people with big wads of cash, and an hour later they're broke. Why? Because they don't know the rules. They don't know the odds. they didn't take the time to even read the rules or understand how to bet. So if you're going to invest in something, I mean, understand what you're investing in. Have at least a working knowledge of how it works. I mean, you can't just blindly go in there and throw your money down on the table, spin the wheel, and hope that you got lucky. It doesn't work that way, because there's thousands and thousands of worthless cryptocurrencies that do and solve absolutely nothing. They're a waste of time. Or think of a hard fork like a pothole in the road, or maybe the sewer backed up and there's water and flooding, or think of it as stop signs or lights. These protocols fix the potholes. They clean the sewer system so the water drains and you no longer hydroplane. So these can be improvements in the protocols of these coins. So we've kind of talked about how the ecosystem works. You're getting on, you're getting off, you have a taxable event. Know that when you trade one coin for another coin, that's a taxable event. We've learned now that if you've watched some of from the beginning of this year when we started this, you're a happy camper if you've listened here for the last 3-4 months and recommendations in DeFi, Ether. When you follow the money, it makes trading, it makes investing really easy. So I love how Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a lot of the altcoins solve a lot of our problems. And those problems are trust. And people, and I see in the conversations, they say, well, explain how a smart contract works. Why does Ether have smart contracts, but Bitcoin doesn't? How does Ether work, and how do you work these smart contracts? Okay, let's tell another story. Let's say I'm Andy, and right now I'm in Ohio. And let's say I'm buying $1 million worth of gold from a mine in South America or South Africa. It doesn't matter. I'm buying $1 million of gold. And I go to the seller. I'll take $1 million worth of gold. And he says, great, send me $1 million and I'll ship your gold right out. I'm like, well, wait, stop. We got to come up with a better arrangement than that. I'm just not going to send you $1 million in the hopes that you're going to send me $1 million in gold. So how smart contracts work is like this. Let's say upon mutual agreement or a contractual agreement that said A, buyer, B, seller, come to the terms, we're going to transact and buy $1 million worth of gold. Let's say upon that contractual event, 100,000 of that $1 million is then released to the supplier because it met rule number 1, contract. Rule number 2 may be, once the gold is dug out of the ground, I release another 10%. Once the gold is out, smelted, weighed, I release another 10%. Once the gold leaves Africa and clears customs, I would release another 10%. See, it's about writing rules that will help in every aspect of the world. These smart contracts, and why I'm so bullish on Ethereum and DeFi and dApps, is because it gives the people, like, it'll save, and I hate to say this because I can't stand them, but central bankers or banks, man, it's going to save them billions of dollars in fraud alone. I mean, there's a reason why you're going to see everybody and their brother with a cryptocurrency. It's going to be government, states, Fortune 500 companies. It's common. And a lot of these companies will utilize smart contracts. Why? Because it can reduce fraud. It makes it more efficient. Now, the big hubbub or the big thing with Ethereum lately is it has an inability to scale. And as it grows in value, it really exacerbates the problem and makes it a glaring problem. That's why you're seeing the forks in Ethereum right now. Matter of fact, there was one, a week, 10 days ago, there was a hard fork, Etherlight. And how that works, because understanding a hard fork, they're incompatible. They may run synergistically or together or side by side or parallel. So let's say you had 100 Ether, you would also get 100 Etherlight. 2 different coins, 2 different blockchains. Where a soft fork, it's compatible. You still have the same blockchain, same single coin. So I wanted to clarify that as best I could in layman's terms to try to put it in a way that you'll understand it. Smart contracts are really nothing but rules written on top of protocol that allow certain things to happen. And consideration doesn't have to be monetary. Like in my analogy with the gold, it doesn't have to be money. It could be a lot of different things, and you're going to see that in the future. And it can also be used in not so good ways. And we'll get into the not so good ways of smart contracts on the next video. So happy Mother's Day to everybody. Hit the subscribe button. We're going to crank these videos up a little bit more and get you guys up to speed. So with that said, have a great day, guys.